Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bullpen.
Now, in April of 2022, things started to go sideways.
I'm recording all this. Move out of my way. Get out of my way. I'm calling law enforcement now. I'm calling law enforcement against you all now.
Unsurprisingly, it wasn't long until the Hardys started gaslighting Derrick into thinking he owed them. They felt entitled to business decisions. They felt like the home was theirs and he was just living in it. Derrick was trying to retrieve business documents out of that drawer there, but they were trying to make it sound like it was their furniture and he wasn't allowed in it. Unshockingly, when Derrick called the police for help, they didn't. In fact, the opposite. Now, after this incident with the Hardys, Derrick tried to file a stay-away order, but in court, the women all said that Derrick was the one who attacked them. Even though there was video, who do you think the judge believed? The judge actually flipped the order, and Derrick was forced to leave his home. Legally, everything is in Derrick's name.
Wow. We did the story, Mr. Derrick Williamson, earlier this week. Many of you are familiar with the story because it has been all over social media. We have Derrick on the program today. Derrick, good day. Welcome to Indisputable. How are you?
Hey, doing wonderful. Glad to be here, sir. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you here. Now, there's a lot of content and context inside of this story. And I want you to do the best you can by explaining top to bottom. How did this happen? What was the back and forth? How did they get you out of the property? And where are we today?
Absolutely. So yes, sir. So this all started in the year of 2021. Janet Hardy has a daughter named Jordan Hardy. Most of you have seen Jordan in the videos that I posted. But Jordan Hardy actually ended up having an unplanned pregnancy. And thanks Nerdy Pig and Panda, she's wonderful. But this was just a little bit of misinformation, and a very vital element in this case is that Jordan Hardy had an unplanned pregnancy, and her father, Jay Hardy or James Hardy, dictated that the child had to be terminated, okay? And Jordan said that she could not do that. I was very close to the family. He said that if you would not terminate the child, then you are not going to be here, and so things got crazy. So then they reached out to me because they knew me very well. I was actually helping Jordan because she had a really tough substance abuse problem, and just trying to give her some good insight and counsel, try to keep her on the right track, try to help her to get out of that. And she overcame it. And long story, a lot shorter in reference to that, I stepped in order to save the child's life. So that's how we ended up cohabitating together. I allowed them, Janet and Jordan, to move in with me on my property in order to get them out of the stress and things that were going on with their father, okay? And so that the child can be delivered. So that's how we initially all started cohabitating together to help them, because they said they didn't have anywhere else or anyone that can help them and support them that they're familiar with.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Who are they? How do you know them?
So the Hardys, I'm the former director of one of the biggest food banks in the city, and they were volunteers. They helped all the time. They always showed up. They dedicated time. They gave. They served. They cooked for their people, and just very, very just supportive of the ministry in general. And as time went on, I would begin to notice them, and they would help, and people liked them, and they were just givers in every sense of the way. And then I began to get closer to family, because when Jordan was presented to me with the issues that she had, in order to step in, Janet said, "Hey, I believe you will be a really good influence in her life. I believe that she respects you, she sees you, she listens to you, and I really need some help with her." And so bottom line is that's how I began to get to know them, just through ministry, just through them serving and helping, and me thinking that was the genuineness of them, right?
Yeah, I definitely understand that. So you all are connected. You all share a faith, right? Context. They were active in the ministry, the food bank ministry that you were the director over. That's very good work. Happy to hear you doing that. And also with your animal sanctuary. So this came together, I'm sure, because of your background. It seemed like a perfect fit. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Okay. When did things go south?
So it'd be in 2022, maybe February, that the game changed. Okay, initially when Janet approached me, she's pretty much told me, "Hey, God gave me instruction to bless this ministry to help. I watch you save all these animals' lives. You've helped our family." And I've been, I've inherited a substantial amount of money, and I've been given instruction to invest in the ministry and give a gift to the ministry to help. And so as she gave a substantial gift to the ministry where we bought our forever home with, me and Janet bought the property initially together. And because this is very important, because a lot of people have been asking questions about this. So I tried to do my best to do my due diligence to make sure that I never ended up in a situation that I'm in today, okay? Obviously, you guys have heard me mention Nicole Kanoy. Nicole Kanoy was a former business partner. I learned a lot of tough lessons through her. Lost tens of thousands of dollars, animals. It was a mess. I chose to walk away from it and leave everything because with all the things going on in Animal Kingdom, I did not want to be on the news or anything for with a litigation with that. I walked away to start over, and that's what Janet respected that start over. And when she came into my life, she knew that she helped the animals there. And she said, you've been through a lot with this facility. All these things happen. I'm going to help you. I've been told to do this. So that's why when we moved forward and Janet approached me and I said, are you sure that this is something that you want to do, that you've been led to do? Are you sure that you heard this clearly? She reassured me many, many times that, that was the case. So in preparation for stabilizing the ministry and the business, I told her that in order, because I've been burned in the past and by that hellacious encounter with Nicole Kanoy, I said that I have to know, I trust these hands. I don't trust everybody's hands anymore to do what we're supposed to do. The business the ministry must be on the deed. The deed holder must be the company, because that's very clear who owns the land, who owns the assets, and it belongs to the ministry. So it belongs to the animals. So it was very clear. My name nor her name are currently on the deed now. It is my company's name, signifying that the animals and the ministry are the true owners of that land. And we made that clear with an immediate deed. At a closing table, we made sure to make that clear. So if anything ever came up, I did my due diligence. I thought at least that to protect us, because the deed was supposed to be clear, and obviously we're going to get into, it's not.
Yeah. Well, it seems to be clear based on my research, but others cannot clearly say that. And I'm trying to find the disconnect. So when a deed is unclear, it is unclear based on transactional history. So you can literally look at a point in the journey of the deed and say, see, this is where it gets sticky. There's no such point here. Am I correct?
That is correct. Absolutely.
Give us the details of what happened when the eviction went forth. You tried to evict. They said, no, you actually can't evict, even though you are basically the deed holder, and the entanglement of the judge. Tell us what happened.
So that's very interesting, okay? So when all this began, it was to those of you that have seen my TikTok, there's been altercations through several assaults, have, thousands of dollars in medical bills from leaving my facility, leaving my farm in ambulance multiple times. Judge Holt, okay, she refused, for whatever reason, she refused to honor the deed in place, okay? She the first proceeding that I ever went to, she made it clear to me saying, you own this in my county and I not know about it. And she told me, she said, you are not the, you're not the owner, and Janet is, and she began to say those things at the chief magistrate court judge in court, and not even being a superior court judge having authority to rule on that case at all. So bottom line, she moved against me and moved against the company when I went to law enforcement for help. So get this, when it comes to eviction, this is beyond me. Don't understand it in any sense of the way. I waited a long time. We waited a really, really long time to receive a verdict from the Superior Court. So it'll be, I believe it was November of 2022 that the Honorable Judge Montfort, a Superior Court judge, ruled on this matter. And it was clear he denied everything they tried to come against me with, to set my deed aside, the claims of $1.5 million, all these things. He denied them on every front. It was 100% loss on their end. Okay. So after having a superior court ruling, right, with my attorneys, we went to file eviction on the parties, on all of the Hardys that are on my property. So in court, having that superior court ruling, right, Judge Holt refused to acknowledge it. Okay. Janet's attorney said in court that day, the attorney said that there's been a new filing against you, and Judge Holt's like, oh, really? A new filing has happened? And down here in Morgan County? And we were made aware, had no clue about this new lawsuit being filed, nothing about it. But I was made aware, my attorney was made aware in court. We had not been properly served or anything like that. But bottom line, Judge Holt refused to acknowledge a superior court ruling and denied me the eviction. And then the next week is when the Hardys and the Canoys will go steal the rest of the animals of the facility.
Okay. All right. A lot of nuance here. Okay.
Yeah.
The ruling that said you're not able to evict, you need to file this other filing. Did you do that?
Because there's been so much litigation and things, my attorneys have said that we're just going through the civil matter of the deed. Because pretty much they've been giving us such a hard time, and no matter what we file, no matter what we do, no matter what case law is, they're not hearing it. So my attorneys have said, let's just focus on the massive case that should cover everything else, because they're denying everything on every front. Anything we try to change venue is denied. We try to file anything is denied. So we're just trying to go for the big case now, is what my attorneys are advising.
Okay, let me ask you this question: in the process of this, has anyone from the judiciary, from government, they said, hey man, we actually know you're right here, but this is what's happening to you? Has anybody talked to you off record?
No, sir. No one's reached out to me at all, So that's why I've been on social media and just trying to tell the story and trying to get help. We need help.
As it stands right now, you still are the deed holder. Your organization name is on that deed. Are you able to walk into that home?
Absolutely not. I've been kicked off my land from over a year now. And Judge Holt said I'm not allowed on that property, and so I'm not allowed on it. It's been over a year that I had animals out there, all the company property and fencing was out, everything was out there. It's all company property, and she's made it clear that I'm not allowed on the land, and I've been kicked off my property for over a year. And people that are not on the deed or in this company have been able to have my land and sleep there, be there, manipulate, destroy, and steal to this day. And I've been deprived.
Has there been a motion presented to set aside the deed for cause?
There has been a motion, to my knowledge, there has been a motion filed in the courts recently. They dismissed the case, and Janet and Jay jointly dismissed the case in Rockdale County Superior Court and refiled in Morgan County Superior Court. So now everything has left Rockdale and has moved directly into Morgan County. So I have not been served I have not yet been served the new case. But the last time I was advised by counsel is that Jay Hardy has allegedly filed a complaint again against my company, against myself, that has already been ruled on. He's filed it against me again. And then on top of that, Janet Hardy has filed against me as well in the same court. Both of them fighting for the deed.
Help me understand jurisdiction. Rockdale County, Morgan County, what's the jurisdictional connection between the two? Why are they able to go to both counties and file?
That's a little bit interesting, sir. County is the initial court that heard this case, because Janet and James were getting that quote unquote divorce. in Rockdale County. So that was where their petition was put forth. So that gave Rockdale County full jurisdiction in this matter and ability to preside. So once that ruling was done, in that case, obviously the judge removed me from the case because our assets, the company had nothing to do with those allegations or with what was done. So because they could not win in that court, Janet was the petitioner. Okay, Jay was the defendant. So they swapped it. So now James has filed as the petitioner in Morgan County, and now Janet is a defendant in Morgan County. So they moved the jurisdiction by swapping petitioners. And then the other cases that I had should have been moved out of Morgan County because it was a conflict of interest.
Wow. All right. I do think there's possibly manipulation, like you have suggested, connected to how they're maneuvering. Which, by the way, that's not in good faith, and typically that's a no-no in courts. We call that judge shopping, and typically it is frowned upon, right? Today, you are not at your property. Litigation is ongoing. What is your attorney saying will probably be the remedy, or what is your hope?
My hope is because having a phenomenal counsel, they've been doing a great job. She's really been doing amazing. But because the judges, are not adhering to case law, to the facts, to these videos, to the evidence, to the medical records, to the deed, they refuse to acknowledge it. It's like that's why we've come here to see if there can be some accountability to these judges to honor the law. They refuse. And my attorney the firms cannot make them act justly in my case. They choose to, I've exposed a lot of the corruption here. They refuse to do the right thing and honor the case law.
Because we're dealing with a property dynamic that may have elements of racial discrimination, why hasn't your attorney petitioned the federal courts to supply jurisdiction here?
So based off my understanding and my attorney, she's doing civil defense. So she's pretty much making sure that when they're trying to, they've arrested me, they've done all these things, framed me, and she's been defending that and trying to just defend the quote unquote deed itself, even though everything is secure. So she's been focusing all her time, energy, and effort. The firm has been just doing civil defense, and there's keeps on being new cases filed, new charges against me just coming up, and she's just been triaging it and just focusing on the big things until a civil defense, until another attorney comes in, has an ability to hold governments accountable and do civil suits against the parties.
I definitely understand that, because the suits are coming in, she has to be responsive. That's going to take a lot of paperwork, a lot of attention. You got to have another attorney to do the other part. I do highly recommend that part of your at least thought process takes it to the federal courts. I'm not an attorney, I'm just in law school. All right, so I'm not giving you legal advice. But definitely, it seems as if it has to get out of this local bubble for there to be an objective review of this case. All right. For those who are watching, do you have a GoFundMe?
Yes, sir, we do.
All right, give out that information.
So the GoFundMe is, if I'm correct, it's help Derrick stop the Hardys from stealing his farm. All the links are on my TikTok, my Facebook. TikTok is at Derrick 4 Wildlife 007. So the link is there, and everybody's able to click on that. But it should say, help Derrick stop the Hardys from stealing his farm. It should be the GoFundMe.
We're going to bring you back for an update. I think things are going to move in the right direction, even if they don't move as fast as they should. Keep us updated on things we need to know, dear brother, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all having me on the show, and thank you for everybody supporting this cause. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you.